Hello, hello, hello. Thank you and welcome to another edition of Salome Says, where you learn to dive deeper into knowing and understanding who you are and living life authentically. What does that look like? That looks like living in your truth, stepping in your power, and owning yourself and everything that makes you uniquely you, right? Thank you again for tuning in. Last week I didn't record because I've been so busy, super busy, super busy, and I'm trying to find a balance myself. So I had to chill last week on recording because I needed to get some rest. I needed to do my self care that I talk about every time. It's important that you're taking care of yourself. It's important that you are watchful of your energy because you want to make sure you're rejuvenated and can bring good information to the masses. All right, when you're not so tired. And I'm in a phase of, just observing my body, observing things happening to me, and acting accordingly. Because if I'm really too tired, it's kind of hard to be present like I want to, right? And I'm challenging you to put yourself first and exercise self-care to make sure all your faculties are working properly. You are attending to those areas of your life that needs to be attended to and working out those issues and coming up with possible solutions. All right. Thank you again for tuning into Salome Says. So today I'm going to bring you a topic. I have had so many topics going through my head in these past maybe 2 weeks now. It's just so every time I turn around here and there, I'm getting inspiration. But I had to change topics here and there to bring something that's appropriate at the appropriate times, right? And that led me to really wanting to discuss about anxiety, to talk about anxiety a little bit more because that's been a topic of contention lately where a lot of people are really struggling with recognizing the different symptoms of anxiety and how it's affecting them, right? And it's been affecting a lot of people. Now, some people have already been diagnosed with anxiety, and now with COVID, it has really worsened their anxiety and symptoms, and a lot of times they're struggling to cope, right? And for the past week or two, my work has been just helping people really get in tune with their body, get in touch with the sensation that they're feeling in their body because it can really affect your thought processes, right? So, what I realized is the mind and the body work in alignment. So when the mind is not up to par, the body is not right. When the body is not up to par, the mind is not right. So it's important that we get the mind and the body working in alignment for us, right? So that really led me to wanting to dive a little deeper into talking about anxiety. All right. Anxiety, as we know it to be, is rooted in fear, right? That's the fear of the future. The anticipation of the future is rooted in fear and our body responds to anxiety. But sometimes you notice when you're having those moments of high anxiety, your chest will tighten, you will have trouble breathing, your stomach might start acting up. So you might get some hot flashes. Different things will happen to your body to alert you. And your heart beats so fast. So you want to pay attention to that. What I've been doing lately is helping people recognize those symptoms before the anxiety can actually happen to you, before you can actually recognize what's happening, these different sensation your body goes through to alert you that this is happening. So when your body senses a threat, it reacts to it. And when it does react to it, your mind, your cerebral cortex stops working. Because when the body is stressed out, it's kind of hard to make um, rational decisions, right? Have you ever noticed that when you're under a lot of stress or you're having some anxiety happening with you where you're confused, uncertain, um, you're having these symptoms that just literally take over. You ever notice that when you're having anxiety symptoms, it's kind of hard to process possible solutions? It's difficult because what happens is in that moment, the body is trying to calm down. So when your body is trying to calm down, the mind is not really processing correctly. All the mind and is in the body is trying to do is really to get you out of that threat. All right. So today I want to talk to you about recognizing those symptoms before they really happen. That kind of leads up to anxiety. Okay. So when you start to see your heart beating fast or you getting some hot flashes or things happening to you, it's important to recognize what's happening, right? To your body. It's important to pay attention to that sensation. That should alert you to practice some self care in terms of deep breathing to calm yourself down. You want to let yourself know. You're going to have to make yourself get in your mind, at least get into that space of where it needs to calm down, because you need to process. If you are not able to calm down, that's when the anxiety spikes up. That's when it gets to a point where you can't control yourself and you feel like you're having this out of body experience where you have no control of your body when you're trying to gain control or regain control of yourself. All right? That's what happens. So when the mind and the body, as she said, when the body is not functioning properly, then it makes it difficult for the mind to process rationally where you will want to make appropriate decisions, right? So we want to be mindful of that. So your first step is to tell yourself what is happening. You want to make sure you are being aware of what's happening to your body and aware of what's causing you to feel that way. Because if you pay attention, there is a reason why things happen that way. Usually, anxiety is rooted in fear, the fear of wanting to do something or the fear of even doing something, right? I've been getting a lot of calls lately from people who've been experiencing anxiety, usually when they are being placed in the forefront where the attention is on them and they're not used to having attention on them. It creates that immediate anxiety where they are besides themselves. They are having sensations in their body where they can't even process or don't know what's happening and they're feeling out of control. So what I've been telling people is exercising some deep breathing strategies, okay? So when you are engaged in those deep breathing, you want to make sure you're breathing from the diaphragm, right? Which is the part in the middle. So when you are breathing properly, you want to make sure that you are taking in those really deep breaths. The deep breaths that you can feel in your body that helps you calm down. That's what you want to do. And another way to do that would be maybe putting your hands on your wrist like this and standing up. You can sit down doing that too. But you want to make sure you are breathing properly, like taking in those really deep breaths. So you want to breathe in for 4 by counting into 4 and then holding it for 4 and then letting it out at 4. All right. What that does is by becoming aware of the threat that your body is responding to and engaging in the deep breathing, it should help your body calm down. And the fact that your mind has become aware that there's a threat going on that your body is responding to, it helps you deal with that situation, okay? Because a lot of times what I'm finding is people, the mind and the body is only responding to conditions, right? Which you have been conditioned to. So if your body responds to threat in the way where speaking in public is seen as a threat, your body's going to respond to that. So now knowing what is happening, it's important that you become aware of what is happening in the moment. Once you know that, you can exercise the strategies to calm yourself down. Take some time. It's important to take some time and be able to process so you can be able to make the right decision, okay? So that's important. Another thing I'm recognizing that people are experiencing is the fact that the thought processes that they tell themselves, usually those are really negative thoughts, usually that they tell themselves, and they're having a hard time changing their thought processes to positive ones. So as the result, the body starts to respond to those negative things that you tell yourself. And I've been making sure to inform people about the importance of their words because it gets embedded in your subconscious, right? Have you ever heard someone say to you, I know the right thing to do, but I keep doing the opposite of that? You ever heard someone say that to you? I've heard that a lot. People say that to me all the time. I know the right thing to do, so I mean, it's not like I don't know the right thing to do. I know I should be doing this and doing that, but I can't seem to get myself to do it. And the reason is because all those words, those negative words, things we speak of ourselves, right? Even though we know it's not right, it gets embedded into your subconscious. So your subconscious is the one leading you, right? It's leading you when you don't even expect it or when you're not even aware of what's happening. So it's important that you pay attention to the words you say to yourself. But think about it, right? And I told somebody this the other day, and I was just having a conversation with my friend. Um, People are not very aware or watchful of the words coming out of their mouths. It doesn't make sense for you to expect something good to happen when all you do is speak poorly of yourself. When you do speak those negative words of yourself, guess what's going to happen? Your subconscious is going to store that information. As a result, it keeps coming back up. You're going to keep feeling like you don't belong. You're going to keep feeling inferior to other people, to situations, because that's your reality. That's what you have conditioned yourself to believe. So in order to combat that, you're going to have to use that same strategy, but more of a positive reinforcement strategies this time. So instead of saying those negative words like I'm dumb, how about I am learning, I'm smart, I'm capable. Even if you don't think you're capable, but that's what you want to be able to do in the near future. So why not speak what you want? It's important to put out there what it is that you want, all right? And to focus on things that are within your control. And that's another reason I have been noticing why people are having this really heightened anxiety symptoms happening with them, right? It's because we have this need to control everything, to know what's going to happen when we make certain decisions. And I've been telling people there is no fun in knowing everything. There's really no fun in knowing what's going to happen if I do this. Sometimes it's okay, especially when you plan things out, but be flexible enough to understand that things do happen. And when they do happen, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when those things happen, right? So you want to make sure you are evaluating things to assess the cost and benefits of those things, right? Because whatever it is you're worrying about, it's not even that big of a deal. It's because usually we have this one track mind that says, if it doesn't go this way, if it doesn't get done this way, that means I am this, right? If things don't go exactly as planned, it means it's a deficit to us. Having that thought process and that mentality only keeps you stuck, okay? So you have to be flexible in knowing that sometimes things are just beyond your control. And worrying about it and focusing on it to gain control or regain control can actually take a toll on your body. So you want to pay attention to that. Pay attention to the things that are within your control, because those are the things that you actually have a direct say so in, right? It's not a lot of things that we as humans have within our control, right? We don't even have control over if we're going to wake up tomorrow morning or something. We don't have control over that. We don't have control on what will happen when we step outside. We don't control that. So worrying about those things and having a calculated plan for it sometimes will drive you crazy. Now it's okay to have a plan. There's nothing wrong with being organized and being prepared, but you got to be flexible. So when things don't go as planned, you're okay. You're not losing your mind. You are not thinking the world is coming to an end. It's not seen as a deficit of yours. Rather, something happened, it didn't go as planned. What can I do now? What are other ways that I can look at the situation? So it's important to focus on alternative solutions, okay? And this is my parable. My mom used to say this. I think it's an African parable. There is more than one way to skin a cat, right? So if one way doesn't work, how about the other way? If that other way doesn't work, it might be frustrating at times, and I get it, because sometimes we have our minds set on one thing and we want things to go a certain way. And usually, if things don't go that way, we look at ourselves and blame ourselves. So placing that blame on ourselves doesn't really allow our minds to process alternative solutions, to process other ways of working out a problem, right? So there is no point in blaming yourself, because what is that going to do? Is that going to solve the problem? Now you can acknowledge some responsibility as to what happened, which is okay, because that's how you grow, by taking accountability, recognizing your part in situations, and making progress and moving forward. But staying in that place of blame, it only gets you stuck, okay? So I've been really focused on helping people realize that things are within their control. Because once you realize that there's no reason to worry about all the things you can't control. We couldn't control COVID, right? COVID happened. Initially, it was shocking to everyone because, I've never experienced this before. I never had to be forced to stay home before. Every time I stayed home prior was because I wanted to or trying to get out of work, whatever. Whatever the reason was, I, wanted to stay home. I was never forced. And it's the same with a lot of you out there. This is all new for everyone. But why worried about something you can't change? Why worried about something that is beyond your control? Because worrying about it only produces more stress. This is the time you sit down and think about possible solutions. What it is that I want to do. If this doesn't work, I got fired from my job. So what? Find another job. What can you do with this time? There's so much you can do with this time. You can actually dive into other activities or hobbies that you wanted to do before but never had time to do. So focus on the blessing in the situation. And I talked about this the last time too, in my video. We want to focus on the blessing. And the reason why I decided to bring you this topic because I've noticed a lot of people going through a lot of stress. This is a very stressful time. But you can allow the stress to bring you down, or you can use this opportunity, and I refer to it as an opportunity because there's opportunities in every situation. You will find it if you look for it. But if you are stuck on the problem and on all the things that could go wrong, your mind doesn't create space to even see if there's anything possible that could actually be a solution for you, right? So you want to get your mind, you want to become aware. I think that's the first step. And a lot of people have been telling me that they're starting to become aware of the thought processes, okay? Of the things that are going through their head and those thought processes that they are owning and becoming a part of. Because you can control that too. You can decide which thought process you want to keep based on what it is that you're looking for. If you focus on a negative, and say all these negative things about yourself, that's the thought process you're hoping to keep. And guess what's going to happen? Everything that can possibly go wrong will start to go wrong because that's what you're focused on. Think about it. How are you supposed to get results, positive results that is, if all you do is think about negative stuff? If all you do is focus on what's wrong. How about focusing on that one thing that's right? How about focusing on all the amazing things that's happening in your life? How about focusing on the fact that this is COVID and I get to relax? I've been wanting to take time off from work for so long, and maybe my supervisor has been difficult, or I have a week off from work, which is not enough, especially if you have children and you have other responsibilities. It's kind of hard to really take that time and really focus on yourself and what it is that you want. COVID started off as an unfortunate thing, but guess what? It has allowed us to take a step back, reevaluate situations, think about all the things that we want to do, that things we really maybe had in the back of our mind, thought that we could not attain at first, but now we're able to actually sit down and make a plan and move forward. That's my goal for you, okay? So I really wanted to touch on anxiety today and bring about that awareness because I do notice a lot of people are really, really stressed out and worried. But usually the worry is coming from the things they can't control. We want to put our minds in that space of being solution oriented, okay? We want to pay attention to our body sensations because your body recognizes a threat or what it thinks to be a threat because now this is how you respond to situation. Every time you hear something and you move, even if you are not intending on moving, if you hear a sound, your body will automatically react like that. That's what your subconscious does. It gets programmed and it reacts involuntarily. So in order to get your subconscious to work for you, you have to infuse, right? You have to infuse those positive statements that you want to believe about yourself, okay? Affirmations too is another great way of getting to that, to believe in those different thought processes, positive thought processes you want to tell yourself. Even if you don't believe what it is you're saying to yourself regarding affirmation, it's important to start. You want to start with that, and that way your mind starts to believe it. If you do it long enough, it will start to become a habit. You will start to believe it. All right. So pay attention to your body sensation. Pay attention to the thought processes and the things you say to yourself, because those exact things could be causing you to feel very stressed out. And we know, as we know, stress causes a lot of medical problems, okay? It really, really does. It sounds simple when we say, I'm stressed out, I'm stressed out. What it does is internally it messes up your system that makes it harder for your brain to actually process things, because when your body ain't right, your mind is not going to be right. So let's pay attention to it. We want to keep our body healthy. Exercise is a great way. Becoming aware, meditation, mindfulness exercises, just paying attention to how you conduct your day. You want to be very intentional on how you go about your day by paying attention to the things you're telling yourself, how you're moving, what it is that you want. Be clear about that, all right? This is my time. Thank you for tuning into Salome Says, where you learn to live authentically, dive deeper into knowing and understanding who you are, all right? Follow my website, www at modern intervention strategies.com, and check me out on Facebook for those of you who already maybe don't know me, all right? It's Salome Says on YouTube, African Style on Instagram, and Sa. I know it kind of rhymes, right? Those are my information that you can contact me through that. Visit my website if you need to book a session. You can book your session right through my website, and then I'll get in contact with you and we'll take it from there. All right? Until next time, be well. Take care. Bye. Remember, there is no one like you, and that is your power. So it's important to live authentically in your truth. It's important to own your power, because there is nobody like you, and that is your power. All right? Until next time, peace.